This episode of Smirking Gun Reviews is brought to you by Marvel's Inhumans, the series that finally pays off everything that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been building. It's based off of the comic books. We have all these amazing characters. It is going to be the best thing ever. You will not believe how well it's done and produced. It is amazing. The special effects are groundbreaking, and we're playing it on IMAX. You are going to be blown away. Oh, and it appears to me that there are people coming into the sound booth. What? I'm not supposed to be talking about this. This is like a absolute shit show. What? Get your hands off the mic. I'm just trying to tell the people about this amazing. Stop! You're choking me. What do you mean I can't talk about this? What do you mean it deserves to be in a dumpster? Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 la la ba 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 da 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 ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba.
All right. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, and we have finally made it. A really long time. I've been talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a long time now, and we have finally made it to the end of Season 3. Now we're about to start Season 4. We may get to Season 5. I'm still on the fence about that. But right now, we're here to talk about Season 3, Episode 22, Ascension, the final episode of Season 3. It's the my second favorite episode of television called Ascension. There's a Season 2 episode of The X-Files called Ascension as well. That's better than this. Sorry. But this is my second favorite one called Ascension. And it does not disappoint. It really goes out with a bang, and in a lot of ways, this is kind of the conclusion for the most part. Like, we're not done with the Inhumans, right? We're not done with the Inhumans. But their arc, the main arc, is basically over, and kind of that means the end of the Inhuman storylines, period. Because the show comes out, right? It fails. It bombs miserably. And then, Disney buys Fox, and now we're going to have the X-Men eventually. This is also kind of the end for the big Daisy arc. Now, Daisy's character, don't get me wrong, does not just stop growing. But if you really think about the first 3 seasons, her story has kind of been one of the big major cruxes of all 3 is Daisy figuring out who she is over 3 seasons, right? And there's a lot of other journeys, but for the rest of the seasons, it really feels more like a team show. Like everybody's kind of got things going on, going forward, as we go to 4, 5, and 6 to the end, right? To the end of season 7, and I like that. And like I said, that's not diminishing Chloe Bennett or Daisy or Quake at all. They all get a lot to do. But it really does feel like by the end of this, she is on a different kind of path. And once she gets back into the fold and everything, it really is a big team effort. So let's get into this. Now, I was like, oh, she must have a plan at the end of last episode, right? And also, I should stop, because I always forget to do this. If you like the content, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Really appreciate it. We like to see a little bit of growth here and there. But getting into it, I said she had a plan. She must have a plan. She had no plan. She was actually giving up. After everything that she went through and we saw, like, her breaking down with Mac, we thought she turned a corner. I thought she turned a corner. She really was giving herself to Hive, saying, just take me back, fuck it. But, ironically enough, would it be ironically? I don't know. I think it's just bad, luck for her. Seeing Hive can't take her. Because whatever Lash did made it permanent. He ripped it out of her, and now he can't go back. That devastation she looks like and how she feels, and this disgust from Hive, right? The disgust that he sees, like just like she's useless now to him. But that also means that if he can't take her over, that also means now she can have a plan. She does not have to give up. And so it also means she can quake the fuck out, which is exactly what she does. And it's kind of like the face-off that we've been building up towards. Now we know that Ward is somewhere in there. His memories are, right? But this is kind of the big Ward/Hive Quake Daisy face-off that will never happen again. It's like fitting that this scene happens. We get to see it using what Ward knows how his skills as far as hand-to-hand combat goes, and we get to see her just totally using her powers in some of the awesome ways possible here. And again, the stunt work, so fantastic. These actors do so much, and the stunt people do so much. And it all looks so amazing here. Look at this stuff behind me, man. They've got to be eating it up. And it must be so much fun, but a lot of work. A lot of exercise. A lot of regiments that go through to do all this stuff. And again, Brett was great here. And again, Chloe Bennett just keeps getting better at the fight sequences. This girl I would not want to actually tangle with. I wouldn't tangle with her anyway, but I mean, don't mess with Chloe Bennett. I bet you she could kick your ass. So, we've lost a lot of agents now. That's the other thing. I've said this before. Who wants to be a SHIELD agent? You're basically a red shirt on Star Trek when you're just a lowly field agent. But a lot of them have been killed. But they do what they talk about, what the skill sets that they have. That somewhere deep inside them, they kind of remember their skill sets, and now they're all running around the agency. Also that's a lot of stabbing for network television. I think the only reason you can get away with it is because we know he's not a person. He's basically a construct. That's probably what they had to do, because I know this is like an 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock show, but still, multiple stabbings in the chest area. Just amazing. Disturbing too. But it's really, really great. But she finally gets dropped, and here comes them to take her up into the Zephyr, where they plan to ascend to 100,000 feet, blow the place up, have the mist, take over every human down there in Eastern Europe, and then they would get out in the containment room, which is what James brings up. Meanwhile, we have Yo-Yo jumping in front of a bullet for Mac, which leads to another great series of scenes where the team is scrambling to just stay alive while these ass-face monsters all take running amok around the base. Which is where Simmons accidentally finds out that the heat in the boiler room where she's hiding is keeping them from seeing her. In a scene that kind of looks like it wants to be that scene from Alien 3 where Ripley is standing there and the alien is coming up and it's like... and then they leave, and she figures out that the heat causes their already poor eyesight to basically make them blind. And so this gives the other agents, like Radcliffe, he's not an agent, but like Coulson and them, a chance to get away and get to where they need to go, which is really clever writing. A really clever way to write themselves out of that. We have Mac cauterizing Yo-Yo's wound. It having to be Mac, fine. It's weird. I guess she just doesn't trust Lincoln, but who does at this point? And, I don't. But I do like that we have a little bit of foreshadowing in these moments where Radcliffe sees the hand, the LMD hand that he's working on, and he asks if he's ever gotten anything to work, and Coulson shows his hand. That is some major foreshadowing for season 4, and we get even more foreshadowing at the end of this episode. I also love the line when they're talking about the heat and Mac being like, "Oh, we're just supposed to go out there on a hunch," and he's like, "It's not a hunch, it's science." And then to himself, he's like, "It's a science hunch." So I like that moment. That was pretty good. Now, Daisy throwing yet another pity party. It's not this huge monster deal, but it's like we've seen a lot of Daisy pity parties lately, and I was just kind of done. And again, this isn't the actor's fault or the character's fault. It's the writing. It's just her more and more of the guilt that she keeps feeling for everything, and it's a testament to the character that this is true to her, that she takes it all really personally. I'm the same way. But one after another, just crying about, oh, I deserve to suffer and all this stuff, and it just, I don't know. I think I was just kind of at an end for it. I'm just done with it. Like, I wanted to just go get over it. But I know it's just because I've heard it too many times in the last few episodes. But at the same time, I was thinking, we also don't have time for this shit. Another stop and talk in the middle of this dire situation where we have to sit there and listen to Daisy like going, she's still going on and on about how terrible she is. But it does give them a chance for May to try to have a heart-to-heart, saying, look, your powers didn't make you an agent. I did. And I loved that. I thought she was going to be like, you did this on your own. No, she takes credit where credit is due. But she also takes a blast on the back of the noggin from TK guy. If you don't know what TK guy is, it's the telekinesis guy, who has got the drop on them. He's got a gun. And Fitz. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. My favorite character, Fitz, has this amazing moment. And come on, we all know that this is an amazing moment. TK guy has the drop on him, and he says, if you kill me, I can't tell you where the weapon is that I have that will kill you. I've got something here that's going to kill you, and you're not going to see it coming. And, he's like saying, look, we don't want to do this to you. We didn't want to do this anyway. We want to hurt anybody. You're all under his sway. Except for you, because you've always been a murderous wanker. And that's when all of a sudden Fitz has a cloaked gun. Okay, did they establish this? Somebody tell me in the comment section, because I don't remember them ever talking about a cloaked gun, but I've seen a lot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. lately, and it's all starting to bleed together pretty bad. He had a cloaked gun, and he just blows that guy away. And he goes, I told you, I kept telling you, you weren't going to see it coming. And so Fitz just drops the guy. It is amazing. This episode has got so many good moments like that. Coulson's got this now. His big idea is that we take a remote Quinjet, which Radcliffe proclaims that he really loves how S.H.I.E.L.D. does things. And I do too, because Coulson's always got some crazy little scheme that whenever they get pulled off, and they almost always are pulled off magnificently, they are always some of the coolest things on television. And we haven't even gotten to the really cool thing yet. Because right now we're just talking about taking the Quinjet, stealing the nuke, taking the, separating it from the Zephyr, going to high altitude in space, blowing it up there, right? That's the on the surface plan, right? Coulson's going to do it himself. Coulson's going to sacrifice himself because he, like he tells Hive in a minute, this is all my fault. Now we also have James. Now, I wish we could forget about James, the inhuman that can, set things on fire and blow them up. We have to have that guy. And I thought that maybe this would be some kind of callback, but it really isn't. In fact, he just kind of disappears in the middle of all the action here. He's that guy who realizes that the master's plan that he's doing, right, is not that great. Now he has no will of his own, so where did he go? I mean, I guess we'll get to that. Whatever happens, happens. I guess the influence that he had on James is gone, so he could disappear, but that would have been a real trick getting off that ship. But he's that guy who's like realizes the guy's plan might not be that great. Because he realizes all the people are going to be turned, even the women. And so he's that guy who's like, he's told to kill the stowaways. But all he really ends up doing is placing a bomb that hurts Lincoln. And again, Daisy now has the cross. So it's basically been passed the cross around so that everybody in the audience can be like, now who's going to die? When really, I guess back in season 3, they hadn't done the whole nobody dies on the team thing to death. But by season 7, spoilers, when the track record is, if you are on the team, at this point, you're pretty much safe. But we didn't know that back then. It's also interesting to point out, I think, what Coulson says here to Hive, right? He goes there and he meets Hive on his own, and Hive is all like, oh, yeah, like, what are you going to do, right? And Coulson starts monologuing, and that is the clue right there that there's more going on, that Coulson's standing there next to a fucking inhuman god, right? And he just starts talking. Whenever Coulson just starts talking, the ace up his sleeve is about to present itself. But he does have a chance to talk about this whole thing with the Inhumans. That he's like, this is funny, that we started all this, it was to save them. And here we are at the end, and they're basically all dead. That none of this worked out. All of us have fucked up royal. And that, now nothing can stop the end of the Inhumans because of what happens, with how they handle the Inhuman show and yada, 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 yada. Like I said, this is kind of the end of the Inhuman storyline as a major factor. We've been dealing with it, really, since season 1. We just didn't know all of it until season 1. But all of season 2 and all of season 3, Inhumans, all to set this up just for this major failure. It is one of the only real major failures since the MCU started going and had this show come out. But he also talks about this all happened because of me and my hatred for Ward and my desire for vengeance, which also gets brought up about vengeance, just breaking you down even more, is what Coulson talks to Daisy about last episode. And that his vengeance to end Ward made all this possible, that brought about all of this stuff. And this is when Hive shows his true face. And I love this effect. I really wish they could have used it more, because I really think that the design's cool. It's very like Davy Jones's brother or something from like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's very octopus, squid-like face. I really dug it, and I really wish we could have seen more of it. But it turns out he's just a distraction, and he learned from his good old pal Blake, to not actually be there when this is going down. He's just a hologram. And not just that, but he's not alone. And that the team actually did go on there. And he's laying it all out there for Hive. This is what happened. Everybody's here to do all this. And I'm not even here. And then he gets to, because Coulson is us. He is such a nerd. He goes, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm your only hope. He's always wanted to do that. He does it like Princess Leia in A New Hope. It's just, I love Clark Gregg. I love you, Clark. Because he always nails this shit. And it's one of the highlights. It's just one of the great highlights. But Lincoln gets hurt. You know, they talk about he should be fine as long as there's no internal trauma, right? No internal trauma. Where was I going to do something here? 1 second. All right, so they're going to steal the warhead, get on the Zephyrs that detonate into space, and we have the mighty-ish return of Mac's Shotgun Axe. It is an amazing presentation. It's a great reveal of this awesome weapon that is barely used, and when it is used, it's like rated G version. Like when he shoots a guy point blank with a shotgun, literally nothing happens to the guy except he flies backwards. There's not even a tear in the shirt really, and it's a shotgun blast. It's like he hit him with an air rifle. So, I mean, the show shows blood all the time. We had multiple stabbings, and you shoot a guy point blank with a shotgun and nothing. And so it just was a little underwhelming that they reveal this awesome shotgun axe, and we don't even really get to see it in action. It was an impressive round and round we go shot of everybody kicking ass, but all it did was give Daisy the ability to get the nuke onto the Quinjet, but Hive is there. And Hive is there, and he's like, well, hey, it doesn't matter that you just, set the controls so that we can't turn around. I've got Ward inside here. I can just, have his knowledge turn it off, which is when it's revealed that Lincoln, as Daisy sees the bloodstains on the floor, has snuck on as well and has fried the controls so that Ward/Hive can't change course. And Lincoln blasts Daisy off the ship and traps him and Hive and takes off to sacrifice himself because he can't let Daisy die. He wants to save her finally. And, he does, there's the whole, this is my purpose. And they've gone into this over and over and over about the destiny and why Inhumans get the powers that they have, that there's some ultimate reason that the power they have is chosen. If you believe in that kind of stuff, fine. I don't. And so I'm listening to this, right? And it's like, this is my purpose, to fry the controls. It's my destiny. And I'm just like, because it's just, come on. Like, I could never get on board with that kind of thing of like, really? That's the only reason you got those powers, was to do this one tiny thing. And maybe I'm being a party pooper in this respect. But I just find it dumb. But fine. But I do love the way Hive reacts to this. They're out there. He can't go anywhere. And he accepts the thing that's been eluding him for thousands of years. And the thing that will connect him and Lincoln without having to sway him. We're both going to experience death. And he accepts it. It's kind of weird that he's just like, well, I'm fucked. Might as well enjoy the view, which they do. And no, not the show. I mean the actual view, like, of Earth. And that, Daisy's, you gotta help him. And the entire audience is probably going, no, we don't. But it does give, Coulson a chance. Like, she's saying to Coulson, he's up there paying for my mistake. And Coulson's like, no, man. He's paying for all our mistakes. It's not just about you, sweetie. And I'm sorry. I just said sweetie like in some condescending asshole man. So, anyway, I did not mean to say that. It was so condescending sounding. But they get blown up to smithereens. They get to see Earth, talk about connection and all that. And in typical S.H.I.E.L.D. fashion, nobody died on the team. Cut to 6 months later, and Coulson and Mac are on surveillance, and we find out that Quake, I'm going to start calling her Quake now to get used to it, has left the team because of the events that happened. And now she's doing her own thing, helping Inhumans how she can, and she's trying to help the little clairvoyant Robin, who is the daughter of the guy who could see the future that Hive wanted. The reason she was able to see things in the first place, the whole reason she got those visions, she's out there trying to help out that daughter and her mother. And that's sweet. And she's got a new look. She's very gone goth apparently. But I think it's mostly so that she can go undercover and not be seen, like have a different look. And she can now use her powers to kind of do super jumps, which is pretty cool. But the real stinger is the end, where Radcliffe is seen talking to someone named Ada, and how he's basically been free and clear with some conditions from everything he's done, and he's working on something. We see LMD, which is the life model decoys that we're going to be dealing with in Season 4. And it's a big deal. It's a big day for him. But nobody's there to celebrate with him. And what are they celebrating? Well, Ada's birthday. And so that is the beginning. Here's the only hope part of the next season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's been an amazing ride when I think about how long it's taken us to get here. Ups and downs, ups and downs. These episodes don't get a lot of views for the most part. I do this out of sheer love for my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I went out and I finally got my badge. It sits here in prominence in my collection of knickknacks that I love of my nerddom. This one, though, this one's special. I love this show, despite my sometimes having to criticize it. But I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And these videos are made for you guys. So if you like this review, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications so you can watch all the content on my channel. We will be back with Season 4. I can't believe we're on Season 4 finally. That means we're going to be hitting Season 5 and 6. Well, we're going to be doing Season 4 and Season 5. I've already done 6 and 7. So anyway, this is Rob here saying have a great day. I don't know how to end this because it's over. Season 3 is over. We're starting a new chapter. We will see you there. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.